Welcome back, listeners, to another exciting episode of the Launch Buddies podcast. Today, we have a special guest joining us in the studio. Please give a warm welcome to Jeanette, the incredible mom of our buddy Sam, who's living his best life with autism.
That's right, Barb. We're so thrilled to have Jeanette here to share her unique journey and experiences as a parent advocating for her son. It's stories like these that inspire us and remind us of the importance of support and understanding.
So very true, Darian. Sam is such an amazing individual. Thankfully, I had the opportunity to have him as a student back in his high school years. That's where I got to know his family and was able to work closely with Jeanette to support Sam through developing his individualized education plan, or IEP, together. It's thanks to dedicated parents like Jeanette that he's able to thrive and shine bright. I can't wait to dive into their story and learn more about their incredible bond. All right, everybody, this is such a great day for me because it's really fun to have our guest into the studio. It's one of the things that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, well before I planned to do the podcast, is to get an opportunity to connect with parents of our young adults who are living life with disability. And so we invited Jeanette Lang into the studio today. And I want to just get your perspective as a parent. I know there are a lot of parents out there that just want to connect with community and know that they're not alone in raising a young adult who does live life on the spectrum or does have a disability. And so this is just a really special time for me to get a chance to ask you a little bit more about your journey of living life in your family with disability. And Sam is fantastic. I had him as, like I said earlier, I had him as a student in my high school classroom, and that's where we met. And Absolutely. It was a few years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was. I'm going to guess 6 or 7, something like that.
You're right, Barb, and thank you for having me. It's been that long. I think it was when he went to high school, and we just connected instantly. I knew that you were going to be a great teacher, and Sam was going to be wonderful in your classroom. And I think about school now, and now we're out of school, and we've left the adult transition program, and gosh, we could talk for 3 hours on
I know we could.
On life. And I think as parents, you just have to form that community. You have to put yourself out there and meet people, even when it seems overwhelming and you're tired, because these are the people that you're going to move through life with, that you're going to meet them in different areas. Your kids are going to form friendships, and it's a small community. So the larger that you can make it, the more people you can bring in, the easier it is to navigate. Because I think I remember way back, before Sam was even finishing high school, we were looking at what's he going to do. And you and I put together a Social Security information meeting, and so many parents came. High school. Yeah, at the high school. And we had the ARC come in, which is a great resource. There's the ARC of Snohomish and there's the ARC of King County. We had Kathy come and speak. And these people I've met again and again. We had a great turnout of parents, and we met again during the adult transition and things, and now our kids are friends. So you never know who you're going to meet. So as hard as it is, you have to put yourself out there and form that community.
One of the things that I love about you, Jeanette, is that you are a connector. See people who you want to invite in. And that's really where Launch Buddies started, is because you invited me into a parent group, and being able to connect with the parents there, the moms that I think Fun Special Moms is the title of your group, which is so
we
fantastic.
Text on that stream.
Right.
That's how it started. It started with us talking one day and having a cup of coffee, and you were talking about this dream that you had, and I was like, I want to be a part of that dream. And then we started. We had a mom's group, and you came, and we just started talking, and then you invited Annette, and you invited Maxine, and then we just started brainstorming about things we wanted to do. And I'm very lucky. I've been a nurse, I'm dating myself, for 31 years.
Oh, wow.
And my first job was at a children's hospital that specialized in pediatric rehab on the East Coast. And that's when I fell in love with this group. We had all kids with all different types of disabilities. There were traumas, there was spinal cord injuries, there were brain injuries, there was developmental disabilities. And that's when I fell in love. So I have always been, before an advocate for my own child, I was an advocate for other parents and their kids.
So powerful.
And so as we moved and went different places, I just kept continuing doing it because if not my family, who?
That's true. And I know that one of the things that you really do for your community is to offer hope. There's a tone in this group of women, of families that have gathered together, that it's just a positive approach. There are other groups that sadly I've been up around that really, of course, it's difficult and the school system isn't always doing what you hope for them to be doing. But I think it's so much more powerful when you link arms together, when you have a hopeful and positive approach to education, to life, to relationships. It binds people together. And I thank you for that because you really do inspire hope for other people and help people see, oh, hey, did you hear this resource? Do you know this event coming on? And rallying kind of everybody around those activities and those events.
I think we're really lucky in this area. North Shore School District has been great with Sam. I know that's not everybody's experience, but I think you have to maintain an open conversation and you have to work with the school. And there are resources out there that people don't realize. And that I think most of the moms that I'm with, that's just our outlook. We're just positive people. And we do embrace and try to bring other people in and say, especially I love seeing younger moms that maybe are at a different place. Come and talk with us. Come and see us. Like we have a wealth of knowledge between all of us. We have kids who are 18 getting out of school, who are 26.
Darian is 26.
25.
Oh, well, you're going to be 26. Okay.
And so we've all been in different places. And sometimes when I have felt this is overwhelming, I talk to another parent, especially Ari's mom, who was like, there's a different avenue. Come see what we're doing. So I think, like you said, we add support when we need it, or just say, come and see what we're doing. Come have a glass of coffee, a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, and let's talk about it. Let's talk it through, or this didn't work. So you have to be a community.
That's true.
You can't do it alone.
Before we continue our conversation with Jeanette, let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. They are committed to providing exceptional educational services to individuals with disabilities, empowering them to reach their full potential. Visit their website at www.sdesworks.com to learn more. Let's hear a little bit more about them as we take a break. We will be right back.
Enjoying the Launch Buddies podcast? We're all about celebrating the voices of self-advocates who bravely break down barriers. Speaking of brave advocacy, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. SDES offers a comprehensive curriculum, training, and consultation for students with disabilities. Their Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics has been refined with input from educators and families, achieving great success in classrooms nationwide. As Launch Buddies, we understand the challenges of finding the right education. With SDES by your side, you'll feel confident and empowered to provide an exceptional education for every child in your program. Visit sdesworks.com to learn more about the Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics and make a real difference in your teaching. Thank you, SDES, for your commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. Now let's dive back into our conversation that's so captivating with our amazing Launch Buddies. I have to ask you, in the IEP planning process, earlier on, one of the things also that you were really strong in is having a vision for the future. And I know a lot of times for families, for parents, in the process of being in school earlier on, even at 14 or earlier, setting a transition plan. What does life look like after high school when you can't even see past today? How did you have that vision for the future and that willingness to try to pursue adult service agencies or other supports that he would need after high school? A flyer came around in the school system.
Yes, for the adult transition fair.
Okay.
And I wasn't even thinking ahead. I was, like you said, we were dealing with just getting ready to transition into high school. And I attended it, and I realized all these services were out there. The ER, Provale, thinking about King County Metro, thinking about jobs, thinking about Social Security,
guardianship, SSI,
guardianship.
all of those things.
All these things came out, and I thought, I have to start planning this now. Like these are things that weren't in my radar, because if you wait till the end, it's really overwhelming. And that's when I just started talking with different people. And from there, I got my name and number put into a database, and then started getting more information that this was happening and that was happening. And then I just said, as hard as it is, I'm going. And when Sam could go with me, I took him with me and had him meet people, because Sam is super social.
Very.
So he started talking with people, and we just started talking about what is the future going to look like. And actually, I think one of the biggest things was when we were with you, and you said, I'm having my students write their needs down in a letter, and they're going to go out and talk to all their teachers. And that's when I was like, he's so capable.
He is so capable. And
our kids are so capable. And he wrote a beautiful letter, and he told me everyone he talked to. And then from there, I just started pushing him more and more. So for Sam, I think with his just development and where he was, middle school, he wasn't ready to be a self-advocate, more around 14 or 15, as he became more aware of his needs and people were there to support him. That's when I really started pushing him to.
Yeah, and I think that is a longer process. I know in the book that I have, my transition portfolio, I like to start students out earlier to simply ask a question, answer a question, be able to gather information from other people, to do turn taking, those types of small little steps, so that then by the time they are going to a transition resource fair, they are able to ask somebody a question, to gather that information, to become their own best advocate alongside their parent or guardian. But doing that in school, thank you for reminding me of that, because they have, 7 class periods a day sometimes. Yes. And so, all of those teachers that need to know who they are, to understand their accommodations that are needed, to how to modify curriculum, how do they know that unless they understand the student's story? And having that be from their voice and not from the voice of a parent calling in and going, why aren't you doing this for my kid? No, that's your student, Sam, going and saying, hey, I learn best this way. Absolutely. I function best when I have these supports available to me. It's in my IEP. Will you please take a look?
And that started in high school and meeting you. Like my eyes were open. I think as a parent we do, or we look at our kids as just our kids.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he's growing up, but everyone is so different and everyone is ready. But I think if you just keep working on it, the younger, the better. Some kids are way more mature at 10 and 12, and some kids mature later. That's why I do think this program is amazing that we're doing with Launch Buddies. And I do love your transition portfolio, because it made me think of things that I wasn't thinking about, because I was so focused on, we have to get through the day and we're just through high school, and it goes on beyond.
It really does.
If you really work with your kids younger, they get, in schools, I think we like compliance.
Yes.
School systems, hospital systems. Please
add in, Darian.
Please, Darian.
Definitely, from the sound of everything that you guys have been talking about, it's very vital that all students, even certain individuals who have disabilities, are understood on a full level and are able to meet their goals, meet their dreams, or find certain success in areas that didn't seem possible. But, and then also what you guys are talking about, it takes a village. So when the community is all together and teachers and students all together collaborating, working together on what we can do to make sure certain things are understood, it takes a village, certain things to happen.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of people willing to come around the family or the young adult. And also, I'm sitting here thinking about student-led IEPs, right? Yes. How in the world can you expect a young adult to just all of a sudden jump into that kind of situation and start advocating for themselves or talking to a group of adults? You have to have a slow process to go, what does this look like or feel like? Let's practice little tiny bits of it and then grow over time.
And that's exactly what I was saying, because in the school district, we have to get through a day. Things have to get learned. So they do really push compliance, which I hate that word. It's not the best word. You want students to be able to learn, but they still need to be individual. And I think Sam had to unlearn some of that. Probably maybe you did too, Darian. If that was the school, like you had to find your voice and you had to realize, yes, there's things that I need to do, but I have a voice and it's okay to say no. Like that is not a goal I want anymore, or this is a goal I want. So I think, like you said, you have to teach him a voice, and it has to start early, because Sam is still learning, as probably all of you, being able to advocate for yourselves at your job, at a grocery store, at a doctor's office, wherever you go in life, right? You have to be able to navigate and advocate for yourselves.
Right. Two things that came to mind when you were just talking about that is, one, I think Darian really found his voice in high school when you were in video productions classes, and you were the one for the whole school with your incredible voice going in, and you were doing the announcements from the office and for the entire school, for the Pledge of Allegiance, and just different announcements that you had to give to everybody, the whole student body. You did a great job with that, and that's a way that you explored your voice. There are opportunities on campuses to do those things, right?
It's incredible to have everybody's voices heard.
Yeah.
And to get their voices out there, information out there as well. It really is incredible to spark ignition, the type of ignition that gives people energy and like what they need to know.
Right. We want the young adults to launch into their own futures empowered and ready to advocate for themselves in whatever scenario that they're in. And we talked a little bit, you're a nurse by trade, and you're going into a new season for you to get certified. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that, but specifically helping young adults or anybody who lives with a disability advocate for themselves in the healthcare community, in their healthcare services.
Yes, I was thinking about going back for my DNP, which is a doctorate in nursing, and I found this fellowship. It was called the Golisano Fellowship through St. John's Fisher College in Rochester. And it is nursing leadership in intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Oh,
and it's
amazing.
It's this core group. Tom Golisano, who is on the East Coast, he's a huge philanthropist, has donated money, given money for this program. And we're pairing with nurses from Ireland, all over the place.
Okay.
And we are taking on a project to help become leaders. And what I'm hoping to do is, if this group is anyone interesting, especially Darian, I hope you would want to be interested, is how do we help our kids be independent and be advocates for themselves and understand health literacy in a very complicated medical system?
How do you navigate that?
How do you navigate? How do you speak up for yourselves? So that is my plan. I'm going to actually work with you and help you rewrite your health literacy part in the transition, because I think the younger we can get people advocating in all areas, that as they grow and become adults and then have to take care of their own health, how do they meet with doctors? Do they know who their physicians are? Do they have their numbers? Have they ever been to a hospital? How do you make a doctor's appointment? There's so much.
So I really want to link to that program that you're referencing. The listeners can find that in the show notes for this episode. And I just love your heart, and for how you not only are empowering your son, but you're empowering the community around you, individuals with disabilities and their families. Thank you so much for the time that you took to share your heart, share your journey with us. And we're just very excited to connect with other parents like you and be able to find out, what is this journey like?
Absolutely.
Right? From school to adulthood.
And thank you for having me, Barb and Darren. It's been wonderful talking with you this morning.
So fun.
Of course.
Thanks. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to switch gears here. We love to share our common interests with one another and with our listeners. Our common interest today will be focused on movies. Sam and Jeanette spend a lot of time talking about movies and identifying with characters we see on screen. And our buddies will be sharing today all about their favorite movies, and we will see where we can find our commonalities and the things that we really enjoy. As our buddies come into the studio, we will be asking questions about their personal preferences and movie selections.
I know for me, I love to watch movies, and getting the opportunity to find some friends who enjoy similar movies is a really fun thing to do this summer. I want to encourage our listeners to think of people in your life that you would want to plan an outing to the movie theater, or to find an opportunity to gather in a central location and a place that is accessible and comfortable for those interested in sharing some fun together. And now we have our buddy Sam. Sam, I know you love talking about movies. Tell me, what kind of characters do you like? What kind of movies?
Or actors too.
Exactly.
Right? Anybody in movies, Sam.
I have drawn the character Chaz from Trolls World Tour, and that's the guy I drew in real life.
Trolls is out now, or is it coming out?
No, it's coming out.
Okay. So when will that come out?
November.
Okay. Are you excited about it?
Yes.
Okay. And Darian, did you have another question you were going to ask Sam about his interest in movies?
Yeah. Sam, what kind of movies do you like to see?
I just like to see the ones that are an hour in the movies. I've seen Asteroid City and Mario because they were an hour, not 2 hours long.
Guess what? You have that in common with the other buddies who were talking earlier. Jay and Koa, they saw the movie. I think you said, we did talk about Koa saw the movie with Sam. Mario and Sam, was it just... Watch your hands, bud, okay? All right. Sam, I know you went to the movies with Koa, and did you go with anybody else, or was it just you
Koa.
two? Okay, and I didn't know if you went in the evening or during the midday. When did you go? Do you remember the date?
I actually went in May of 2023.
You're so good with dates. He remembers specifically when things happen. May of 2023. I'm going to ask you another detailed question. Did you watch on a weekend or on a weekday?
On a weekend.
Do you remember the day?
May 27th.
And it was
2023.
Was it a Saturday or a Sunday?
It was a Saturday.
Good for you. That's amazing.
Wow.
Okay. I have a question again. Going to the movies, do you pay for yourself or does somebody else pay for you?
I pay for myself.
That's so cool.
So very
Is it from
responsible.
money that you earned on your own?
Yeah. It's the SSI that paid me.
That's so cool. You're using your SSI money to go out and do fun things with people. And I know that a lot of people use SSI funds to just have their daily living skills, the supports that they need in their lives. Maybe it's paying rent or buying groceries, but you are also choosing to use those funds with going to do fun things with friends.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's really good.
Is there any other question that we can ask Sam? Because, man, Sam, you come in often with your artwork showing different characters that you've seen in movies that you really enjoy. Who is that you drew for me today? Jamie?
Dornan.
From what?
From Trolls.
Okay. Thank you for drawing me a picture.
I've been told I need to keep the other one to myself.
Okay. That's something that is, I know your mom really helps you to determine what things you want to share with others and what things you want to keep to yourself. Yeah. And I'm really excited that we have your mom here, Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. How are you?
Hi, Barb. Thanks for having me today.
We're so excited that you're here and getting a little bit of insight. I would like to ask you a couple questions about movies that Sam is interested in and things like that. When did you start seeing his interest in movies and connecting with characters and wanting to draw pictures? Is there a time in his life when you started?
I think he was probably around 16 or 17 when he really started enjoying a lot of movies.
Okay.
I think it started with Star Wars, the Star Wars characters, Indiana Jones, I think some people were talking about earlier. Right. And he just started drawing the characters, and then he started looking at other movies they had been in. And from there started searching things they did in their lives, like when they were born, their interest. And from there, he just kept going with movies. And sometimes we have to look at movies and say, maybe that's not a great movie to see, or other people might not be interested in that.
Trying to filter those things out.
Absolutely.
And navigating social connections, given the types of movies to pursue or watch or connect with and talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? So one of the things that I know is a barrier typically for people who live on the autism spectrum, that understanding those social norms, those social connections, but also a barrier to communication. And sometimes when students that I've had in the past, I was wondering about the characters and ways that he talks about movies and how he connects language with the world or with other people. Have you seen that's a gateway for him to connect with other people?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things he became so outgoing with and could connect to others when you start talking about seeing a movie or then looking and saying, that movie was a book.
Right.
Let's look at books and what other people like and enjoy. So I think that's a great way because you can identify with that character. And then other people will say, I saw him in this movie and I identified with him or her in that movie. And then they found an interest. And then he found a group that likes to go to the movies. And then he found some of these people like to go swimming or they like to go hiking. So it started the conversation and then started adding more people into a circle. And I think everybody here likes movies and videos and computers, and that's how this group started to get together. And now they share a lot of their things just by being in this group and talking. And Darian is so thoughtful, and his questions are so wonderful that look at the group we have now that have made plans. I know Bryson and Andrew that isn't here have gone out to the movies together. And I know one time Darian was invited to Sam's birthday, but they didn't end up connecting, but they're talking about having an end of summer party. So all of these things started out as things doing alone, but now they're doing it as a group.
And finding those common points of interest. It's not just movies, it's other things too. But finding that as a connecting point and then branching out and building, facilitating those relationships to continue to grow and expand. And like you said, you're not just then talking about movies, you're talking about books and other ways to connect with others.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Sam, what do you think about all this?
It's good.
It's good? I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal that we all managed to find common ground with each other. When we find common ground, that helps us to want to learn more about one another.
I think it builds capacity for other people as well that maybe you wouldn't typically choose to hang out with. Oh, and then by the way, you start to have these interest areas and your relationships grow. You're, like you said, Jeanette, your circle of relationships and connections grows when those opportunities are explored.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I want to tell you, I have some backup plans. Like I get to watch all the movies from any year date I want. Even I didn't get to do them in the past. I like the backup I'm using.
I love that so much, Sam, because you don't always have the opportunity to have the plan that you thought you were going to have work out. Maybe somebody's busy. Maybe they just don't particularly want to do the thing that you want to do or have the similar interest. And so you establish a backup plan.
After Proval, I had a backup plan. I got to watch whatever I wanted on my phone. That was a backup.
Yeah. And you do have daily activities where you work with, you were talking about Proval, which is an employment vendor. There are job coaches and job developers that help you navigate the world of work and different times during your day when you do go to work, you have somebody supporting, but then you were talking about your backup plan after all of that's over. You know that you can go do the thing that you really enjoy.
Yeah, after work, I get to watch all my videos.
Very good.
But I can't watch them at work because I get fired.
We talked about that on our other podcast, and I love that you brought that up. And it's good for everybody to know that, Sam. It's not just for you or our other buddies, that a lot of people have to stay dedicated to their work that they're assigned.
Yep. There is a time and place for everything.
That's very true. Darian, thank you for highlighting that again for us.
And also, I love connecting with people, though.
What do you mean by that?
No, connecting with people when I text them.
You did this morning. You connected with me. I know you connected with Darian.
Yeah.
During the week, you connect with me. And I know one of our points of connection is that we're going to have a summer Launch Buddies party. I don't know what that's going to look like yet because you're going to decide what you want to do as an outing with other people, with our other buddies.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep. And
hey, Sam, is there anything else you wanted to say?
And I am very welcome and capable of that. When I have my private time, I get to do all the things I want to do with the books that I have on my phone.
You have private time and you have social connection time. Yeah. And having those kind of blended in together or in one day, you might want to have your public social time and then you might need a break. And then you can go into your private time to do the other things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I like how you structure your day.
Yep.
That's really good.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Sam, on the podcast. And we're going to take a break. We're going to switch gears here.
We have Koa, Jay, Barb, and myself. First, Koa, I would like to ask you, what kind of movie did you go see?
The Mario Bros. Movie.
That's incredible. How was it?
It was great.
That's great. Who did you go with?
I went with Sam Lane.
That's
our
awesome.
buddy, Sam. Good job for connecting up and having a social outing and enjoying something together.
Anytime.
That's awesome. When did you go to see it?
I went in the Woodhamville AMC.
Okay, and when was that?
It was, I'm not sure the day, though, but I know it was like April something.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about the movie for people that haven't seen it yet. First of all, would you rate it?
I would rate it like 10 stars here.
10 stars out of 5 or out of 10?
5, and out of all the 5 stars, I would rate it as a 10.
Really?
Because all the action, everything.
Okay.
That's my thoughts on the film.
Okay.
And now we want to transition on to Jay. Jay, what kind of movie did you go see?
I saw Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones? Wow.
I remember that movie when I was a kid. I went to see the first one and I loved it.
I've seen all 5.
You have? All right.
That's incredible.
I just saw Dial of Destiny. It was incredible. I can't believe he's 80. This is probably going to be his last, I would imagine, because he's 80.
Who's that again?
Harrison Ford.
Oh, I like Harrison Ford a lot.
I love him.
He's good.
Okay.
He's cute.
You think so? All right.
Touching
Lots of
family
people think
reunion.
I'm
that.
sure his wife thinks he's cute too.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Okay.
But I would imagine this is his last movie because he is 80.
That's pretty amazing for an actor to still be acting at 80 years old.
I know, right?
I agree.
My other movie I recently seen was Ruby Gimlin Teenage Kraken by DreamWorks.
And how did you like that one?
I loved that one.
Why is that?
Because I also love DreamWorks.
Oh, you do? What are some other movies that DreamWorks had?
I heard there's a new Trolls movie coming out, like band together.
And so we're really wanting to focus on things that we want to do with other people, to build relationships, to build friendships, and to have things in common. And that's one area that a lot of people like to go see movies together. They go in groups or they go with just their husband, their wife, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, or whoever else they want to in their family. And so we want to encourage other people, our listeners, to make plans for outings to connect with others, right? Darian, what is a movie that you really like and enjoy?
I'll have to say Avengers Endgame.
You like that?
I did. It was heart-touching for sure.
Okay. All right. And Jay's giving a thumbs up. She enjoyed that movie as well. She loves that movie.
I love Marvel.
We have somebody waking
loves
up.
Marvel. Oh, Bryce is in the studio with us, and he is our tech guy. And it's funny because he's wearing a shirt that says Texas. And so I'm like, he's our tech guy. We're in his Texas shirt.
What a
Good job.
phenomenal pun there. You did.
Thank you so much. All right. And yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, Bryce. We want an opportunity to see if Bryce, if you'll ever want to go to the movies with us or with somebody in our group. Someday, we're going to get Bryce on the podcast again. And also, we want to create a video with Bryce in it. We'll be checking that YouTube channel to see when Bryce is ready and willing to get on camera with us. That'll be fun. Okay, what else can we say about movies? I know when you were talking about Koa before going to the movies, you have a buffet.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What are the elements of your buffet? What are some ingredients?
I have popcorn.
Okay.
I have like soft pretzels.
Yep.
And
I love soft pretzels. When you dip it in cheese sauce, that's my favorite.
You do like it.
I do like it.
When you go to the movies.
What else do you like to get as far as a soda or slushy?
I like an icy too.
I love ices. What color? What
I get
flavor?
like blue.
Blue ices are great.
Like raspberry or something.
That's right. That's right. All right. These are fun things. And do we have any other questions about movies at this point or anything you want to share? Jay, what do you have?
I like to get food too.
You do? I think that's a common thing.
But I'm trying to work on eating better, so I've been cutting back a little bit.
If you've been listening into the podcast and tracking with Jay and her health journey, she's making some amazing choices with her health after her surgery with her heart. And you came in with some really great, encouraging news. And so you've been feeling better lately, right?
Yep.
Good for you. Okay, we're rallying behind you and we're continuing to encourage each other to make good choices in life.
Can't believe it's been a month now since my surgery.
It's going by, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's already, it's July 8th. And we're just moving through the summer. Thank you for joining me with this summer podcast, our Summer Launch Buddies events. We're not recording as much as we usually do, but we want to stay connected to our listeners and to our community.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in and being a part of our inclusive community. Remember to stay connected with us on social media and share your thoughts using #LaunchBuddiesPodcast. We look forward to bringing you more inspiring stories and conversations in the future.
Until next time, keep spreading positivity, embracing differences, and supporting one another. Together, we can create a world where everyone's voice is heard and celebrated. Thank you for joining us on the Launch Buddies podcast.